He jams a thick black tube up my dick while I look on in fascinated horror. What's the worst pain you've experienced and what caused it? Kidney stones. My first kidney stone of many, I actually prayed for death. Worse than anything else: broken arm, hernia, root canal. It took 2 weeks to pass my most recent kidney stone. It was the exact width of the ureter between my kidney and my bladder. Not big enough to require surgery, not small enough to pass quickly. I ran out of painkillers on day 12. I went past praying for death into complete and utter insanity. A savage assault at the hands of my then husband. I have dragged down a flight of stairs by my hair, kicked, punched, and beaten with a meat tenderizer. Then, all with the same hunting knife, I had snitch carved into my abdomen, my face slashed twice, my wedding ring and the finger it was attached to removed from my hand, and was stabbed 17 times. I'm so sorry. I hope that motherfucker is burning in hell now. I had a gallstone blocking the bile duct. I've given birth without pain relief 3 times, and I can honestly say the gallstone was the worst pain I have ever been in. Had a gallstone I didn't know I had broken up and release all the trapped bile. I vomited a stomach full of bile 7 to 8 times over an hour. It was horrible and so unexpected. Oh my gosh. That happened to my mother last year. We finally convinced her to go to the hospital, luckily. Turns out the episode also triggered diabetes. Another edit for migraine sufferers: if you have not found your migraine trigger yet, please do a bit of investigating just in case you can work it out. It can help with prevention. Some common culprits include food, particularly processed foods, vision problems, birth control, hormones, stress, lack of sleep. Edit: to all my fellow migraine sufferers commenting below, I hope you all have a prevention or management plan that works for you. I can empathize with every story, and I wish nothing but the best for you all because I know how strong you have to be and how much it sucks. I've seen migraine pop up as an answer a few times already, but I thought I'd throw my experience in the mix. I'm lucky enough to get an aura before mine starts, which gives me about 30 minutes to take painkillers and find a dark room to hide in for the next day. The aura is incredibly unpleasant. Have you ever accidentally looked at the sun or bright light and had that glowing after effect in your vision for a while? It's kind of like that, only more vivid. It takes up about 80% of my vision. Once it fades, the pain kicks in very quickly. This pain is like nothing else. It is pain that makes you vomit, which in turn makes the pain worse. One way to describe it to those who haven't experienced it. Have you ever stood up quickly without realizing something was above you and bumped your head super hard? Do you know that white pain you get, followed by the reverberating agony that causes you to clutch your skull waiting for it to ease? Imagine bumping your head like that every second for about 8 hours straight, and that's a migraine. Woke up during surgery. Luckily they weren't far in, so they could put me back under and no real damage was done from me trying to make my escape from the table. I woke up when they were moving me, so I was not strapped down. I remember being suddenly awake and screaming, and it felt like my back was on fire. 3 people were laying across me holding me down. When I woke up in recovery, absolutely nothing. They gave me help with the pain, and I spent like the next day just throbbing in pain and sobbing. It was so bad. I did have several 10-inch needles stuck in my spine pumping contrast into the discs when it happened, so that is most likely why it hurts so friggin' bad, but why they decided to keep going. As I said, there was no real damage, just a lot of pain because that needle was not meant to be in a moving person. Broken pelvis from a motorcycle accident. I started feeling some pain while reading the comments, but I definitely somatized while reading this one. This post is painful. It wasn't nice, to say the least. I blacked out when the accident happened and woke up in the hospital doped up, then went straight to the theater. It was the recovery that hurt. Took me 3 months to walk comfortably again. I had constant heavy painkillers for those 3 months. It hurt to just sitting still. It was Friday, October 14, 2016. I woke up in a cold sweat and terrible pain. My back to my belly button felt like I was being filleted from the inside with a knife made of pure lava. I went to the ER and the doctor on staff said, "Yep. You've got a kidney stone." The good news is that it's halfway down your ureter. Just drink plenty of water and pass it over the next few days. I have prescribed oxycodone and send it on my way. I was never someone that likes taking painkillers, they make me feel off. I was allowed to take one every 6 hours. As I drank over a gallon of water and took the medication, I felt worse and worse throughout the day. The medication did absolutely nothing. Not a thing for the pain. Late Friday night I couldn't take it anymore. I said to my wife, "Sweetie, I need you to take me to the hospital, please." She got our 6-month-old in his car seat. I crawled to the back seat of her car in such immense pain that I couldn't talk. Pure sweat running down my face. We arrive at the hospital. I found out that the evil motherfucker doctor I saw in the ER before neglected to tell me at the time was that the stone was a 7.5 millimeters boulder. There was absolutely no way that it would fit down the ureter and pass naturally. It was jammed tight in my ureter and didn't budge at all. The new ER doctor said, "Wait. You were sent home with that. You need surgery immediately." So here I am dosed with a painkiller cocktail of Dilaudid and fentanyl via my 4, and it is barely making a dent. The nurse came in to see me and said, "Oh, remember to keep breathing, okay? Your respiratory rate is extremely low and your blood O2 level is dipping." I said, "Oh. Okay. Remember to keep breathing, got it." In the meantime, my wife is saying, "What the fuck does that mean?" I was tripping balls at the time and didn't think anything of it. Fast forward 6 hours and I'm taken in for surgery. I was knocked out and then had the procedure. They stuck a laser up my dick hole and blasted the stone. However, they had to also send a steel claw up there to extract the pieces since they separated into shards that embedded into my ureter. I wake up to the doctor shaking a specimen vial with what sounded like broken glass. He showed me the 4 mm stone and the rest of the debris. He said, "That was the worst one I've ever taken. How you were still conscious with a 7.5 mm in your ureter is a mystery to me." The doctor said, "You'll have a stent in your ureter for a couple of weeks while it heals. You may have an unpleasant sensation when you urinate." That was a massive understatement. If you've ever used a high-pressure hose at a car wash, you'll notice that after you let go of the trigger, the hose shakes for a moment because of the abrupt pressure change. Imagine that same thing occurring between your bladder and kidney. Pissing was excruciating. The doctor had to repeatedly cancel and reschedule to have the stent removed because of his schedule. Fast forward 8 weeks later. The day to have this miserable stent removed has finally come. I lay down, spread eagle in the procedure room. The nurse injects a numbing agent up my piss hole. She warns, "It'll only make it numb from the penis to the bladder." I didn't think much of it at the time. I was under the impression that the whole process would be painless. The doctor comes in and says, "Let's get this show on the road. You might feel some slight pressure and discomfort." He jams a thick black tube up my dick while I look on in fascinated horror. I feel it in my bladder. He says, "Okay. Now for the bad part. I have to pull the stent out. I'll do it on the count of the 3. Try to relax. 1, rip." That fucker did it on 2. I now know what a lawnmower being started feels like. Fuck kidney stones.